Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we're gonna present about our project. Okay, for our project, we have picked a topic which is 21st century, where Muslims find it challenging. Okay, so our group have 4 members, which is me, ATHIRAH binti AMIN, Siti binti ROSMAN, Muhammad KHUMAIDI bin ABDULAH, Muhammad Taufiq bin Syamsir, and DAMIRAH ABDUL MANAP. So we're going to present about the introduction, methodology, background of issue, problem statement. We're going to tell you problem statement, results, finding and discussion, recommendation and solutions in accordance to the worldview of Islam, and lastly we're going to tell you the conclusion. Okay, first, introduction. Our world is changing. Everyone knows that. We have new technology, new trend, new attitude, and the practices in our organization in all aspects are changing too, following this generation. I think there are various generations that are working toward these changes. So, as I said, the world is changing. So this changing, this rapid changing, this rapid development in the aspect of information technology, the IT, and the spread of mass media. These two play an important role in shaping this generation and the next generation of Muslims. So Islam has been affected with these changes. For example, considering our global Islamic representation and knowledge, it was observed that the Western civilizations are our major challenges faced by us Muslims nowadays. So, following our topic, 21st century is a phase where Muslim finds it very challenging. So, for our project, the methodology that we use is, of course, we collect our information through secondary data from such as articles and journals, internet, and newspaper. This is because due to this COVID-19 pandemic, students are not able to collect the information from primary data since most of us are studying from home and our class are being virtually. Next, the background of the issue of this 21st century where Muslim finds it challenging. So, what is 21st century? 21st century is a term used to denote the 2000s. There are too many challenges that arise for Muslims. The Western civilization has influenced most of Muslims nowadays. Okay, to discuss about this, in the early generation, our Muslim have received more damaging challenges, as they will always involved in a war compared to Muslim nowadays. But Muslim nowadays, in contrast, Muslim nowadays now will face challenges from a new aspect, another aspect such as technology that leads us to social discrimination and the hate toward Islam. Okay, and then the media's portrayal of us Muslim has aided the gross misrepresentation of Muslim in the heart of many non-Muslim people. As we Muslim are being perceived as a violence. Okay, so this is the background of issue. Hence, we will discuss more about the challenges faced by Muslims in this century in more details. So I will pass this presentation to KHUMAIDI.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is ROSMAN with metric number 2021128. For my part in this presentation, I will be presenting about advanced technology influencing human negatively. Okay, so let's go. Digital and Communication Technology (ICT) has unquestionably been driving force behind the development of human civilization on a global scale. The Muslim culture, like the rest of the world, is undergoing change, such lifestyle modification pose a host of legal concerns. Nowadays, modern Muslims have learned how to procure Islamic products through the use of technology. Somehow, most of the Muslims, especially the youth, have overused the usage of the technology until the new technology has drawn their attention away from the task at hand that has been ordered by our God. There are examples for what kind of side effect of technology have done to most Muslims nowadays. For instance, the convenience of smartphones such as social media have dragged a lot of people's time to do things that are pointless, that they forgot to put some thought on worshipping Allah SWT. This one happens a lot to Muslims, as they found gadgets and technology are far more interesting in other things. To give you an idea, popular platforms, namely Twitter, Instagram, and so on, have always been a place where people disgrace things that should have not been their concern. Other than that, they also spread fake news around cyberspace, where it will create a bad environment and a lot of conflict. Moreover, people also defaming other people in social media just to satisfy themselves. The state itself will affect the taqwa and iman in Muslim soul, where people will lack of pure moral values and good feelings in oneself to think well of others, or call it as moves on, and not being in fear of the punishment of Allah SWT in the hereafter. Furthermore, bad acts can lessen the sincerity in doing good deeds. Thus, we are doomed to be ruled by lust if we do not have faith in our hearts. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Anis DAMIRAH, metric number 2010134. In the 21st century, there has always been a bias against Muslim community. First of all, Islamophobia, which is dislike and hatred of Islam, have existed since the Prophet Muhammad began preaching and spreading Islam across Arab in the 7th century. Muslims have been stereotyped as dangerous subjects who behave in opposition to and against peace and world order. As has been seen, part of Western identity formation has been a perception of Islam and Muslim as something that is essentially opposite to the collective us, West, and the sense of belonging in a community. Some Muslims who stay in Western countries would not be able to practice their Islamic faith publicly and have to be immersed in the local lifestyle. Due to countless discriminations, they might have lost their iman, as Islamic ethics are not the main principles in the daily lives, since these values are to evaluate social responsibilities and duties of Muslims. Another challenge is law enforcement that has been implemented by certain governments also eliminate Muslims' rights. Over 1 million Uyghurs in China have been detained in the internment camps since 2015. This policy is known as a cultural genocide, since the Uyghurs don't have the opportunities to attain their rights as core principles, since they must abolish their Islamic identities. Despite facing difficulties, these survivors have decided to stand for their rights by filing lawsuits to the International Criminal Court and Justice. Their jihad against enemies is also a form of ibadah, so that we can relate to the concept of Islam, in which a Muslim life as if Allah is watching them all the time and have willingness in doing anything to worship and obey Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Moreover, modernized philosophical thoughts such as secularism and liberalism are the main factors why Muslims hardly keep their taqwa on Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Liberals typically fight for free markets, limited government and individual liberty. Same-sex marriage or LGBT is an example of modern liberalism. Although it is contradictory to Malaysian constitution's principle, this issue allows Muslims to express themselves freely, especially their sexual orientation, since communities that support modern liberalism in Malaysia have been rising. The weakness of taqwa would lead a man to do what Allah has prohibited and leave the act that He has mandated.
Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. My name is Muhammad KHUMAIDI bin Abdullah. In my part, I will be talking about the pandemic of COVID-19 on how it will be challenges that will bring to the Muslim community, especially here in Malaysia. So we all know that pandemic COVID-19, we have been facing it since last year, more than 1 year, approximately more than almost 2 years already. This pandemic has been faced throughout the whole world, not just in Malaysia. It has been create uncertainties to a lot of people, creates a lot of trouble, it brings a lot of challenges. So today I would like to bring a few challenges that the pandemic COVID-19 has bring to the Muslim community. Now, first thing is that because of this COVID-19, we are advised by the WHO and Minister of Health to adopt a new norm. But this new norm may face a problem to adopt, especially for the Muslim community, as he won't be able to practice the sunnah that have been practiced by our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So number one is that there's no more visiting are allowed. Now the government has informed us that due to the MCO, Movement Control Order, we are not allowed to visit other people, our family members, our neighbors, even other people are not allowed to be visit, as he would may spread the COVID-19 much more greater, and by not visiting it, by not visiting other people outside of your household to prevent spreadness of the COVID-19. Now let us remember that the Prophet asked us, the Islam taught us that they advised to visit other people, as it will in Malay we say as penyatuan ummah, or merapatkan silaturahim. But because of this order of this new MCO, of this new norm, we are not allowed to visit. Now, second thing is that praying in the mosque are not allowed anymore. Now, there's two problems. Praying in the mosque are not the same. In the first situation is that where the mosques are open, the Muslims are asked by the Mufti, even by the Jakim, to pray, unable to pray congregationally or sembahyang berjamaah, as they've been advised to pray with 1 meter apart of each other, so that it will not be easily spread of the COVID-19. Usually we'll be in a normal situation, we'll be praying side by side, where our shoulder, our feet will be touching each other. But because of this pandemic, it create that it is to prevent the spreadness of COVID-19, as this has been the order has been asked by the WHO. Even the Mufti itself advised that this is allowed in Islam. But due to this praying one part of each other, the number of Muslims to pray in the mosque are limited, especially if on Friday prayers, where not a lot of people are able to pray in the mosque. Maybe only like 20 or to 50 people are allowed, or maybe used to we have 100 of people pray in the mosque, but now only 20 to 50 people are allowed to pray in the mosque. It creates a lot of troublesome for us. As for the Muslim, as it does not show the penyatuan ummah, or the unification of the ummah, is we are not praying on each other. But we are advised, and we should be following the SOP by following the new norm. So this pandemic has created a lot of challenges to Muslim community to adopt, to practice the sunnah that has been taught by us, by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now I will pass it to the next presenter. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
We will continue with the solutions in order to combat the problems that has been arise in the 21st century for Muslims. It is important for Islamic scholars to begin sensing and emphasizing these teachings to both Muslim and non-Muslim populations. Muslims from all over the world should recognize one another as Muslim brothers. The third one, Muslims should conduct themselves as Islamic ambassadors in any part of the world they visit, and they should be wary of hate speech even when they are put to the test. Societies blessed with technical knowledge must assist and educate other Muslim communities on the importance of imbibing and incorporating Western civilization into Islamic civilization without interfering with Islam's true teachings. To avoid Muslim misunderstanding, a Muslim researcher could combine Islamic methods with secular knowledge. When conducting research or developing methodologies to solve problems with the aim of serving humanity and gaining Allah's pleasure, a Muslim researcher, regardless of discipline, is essentially expected to adhere to the principles of Islam. In conclusion, although the Muslims face a lot of difficulty in this modern globalization era, but Islam teaches their believers how to keep faith in a righteous way that is blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Islam stands on a very solid foundation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent a prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam through the revelation delivered by Jibril as his messenger to teach people about Islam so that they can understand and be able to implement all its rules in daily life. Islam is also referred to as a religion that gives blessings and goodness to the whole world. A Muslim needs to understand the basics in Islam, such as Islam, Iman, Ihsan, which are where all the blessings and goodness as promised are contained. That's all from us, Group 1. Thank you.